My name is Emma Johnson. After 25 years of marriage, with our children grown up and our daughter having left home, it's just my husband and me now. I thought things might revert to how they were in our newlywed days, but surprisingly, that wasn't the case. Our relationship remained as if we were merely coexisting, like air. Yet, reaching our 25th anniversary is quite a milestone. I think it's quite an achievement to have come this far. It's been a marriage full of ups and downs, and staying together this long is largely due to my patience. For this significant anniversary, we decided to go on a trip. Something luxurious that we hadn't done before. However, on the day of the trip, my husband William said, "I've got an urgent business trip." I wondered how a business trip could suddenly come up on the day, but if that's what he said, I had no choice. "Make sure to cancel the fancy inn," he said, not even appearing disappointed. Disheartened, I just responded, "Understood. I'll be going then. Safe travels," I replied, watching his back as he left. Returning to the living room, I mulled over his words. "I've got an urgent business trip. That's pretty sudden. Where are you going?" "Doesn't matter where. You wouldn't understand anyway, so no need to tell you." He said this with a resigned tone. But something was off. Usually, when he said he had a business trip, he would look burdened and tell me all the details I didn't even want to know, where he was going, when, who with, and what kind of work it was. And he would grumble right up until he left. But this time, there was no phone call prompting the trip, it was just a sudden announcement. Far from looking burdened, he left whistling, carrying a bag packed for travel. Moreover, the clothes he wore weren't his usual work attire, but rather casual. The irritation welled up in me as my husband left without mentioning how long his business trip would be. Irritation and suspicion of an affair started to surface. But he's 53 years old. No. At 53, having an affair? That seems unlikely, I told myself, trying to dismiss the suspicion. Yet, he had repeated affairs in the past. Each time we overcame a crisis, he apologized, promising it would never happen again. Thanks to these incidents, my jewelry box is overflowing, unusual for a wife of a corporate employee. I picked up one of these compensation jewels and sighed heavily. From the outside, people might think a wife who receives such beautiful jewelry is lucky. But the reality isn't so wonderful. No matter how many of these I have, they're pointless, I thought, letting out sigh after sigh. The memories that come back are only of painful times. The first affair happened during my pregnancy. Despite my morning sickness, he cheated, using the excuse that I was pregnant. When I confronted him, he blamed me, saying it was my fault for neglecting him because of the child. Years later, it was when our child was small. He got involved with another woman because I was too focused on the child. When our daughter was in middle school, rebellious and challenging to handle, he wouldn't come home, leaving me to deal with her alone. When our daughter became a high school student and then a college student, my husband William claimed he felt out of place and used it as an excuse to have another affair. He's always used our children as an excuse for his infidelity. But now, with the kids out of the house and it's just the two of us, there shouldn't be any reason or need for him to look elsewhere, let alone cheat. Yet, is he cheating again? Why do I have to endure this, with only tears of frustration flowing? I was looking forward to it, I lamented, staring at the travel bag, resenting the fact that I had finally reached an age when I could enjoy traveling, only to start packing away the travel items. Oh, that's right. I need to cancel the reservation at the inn. Does this mean the trip is postponed or canceled? I wonder. I canceled the reservation at the inn and opened my phone to transfer the cancellation fee. I remembered the rental car. Oh, right, the rental car. I have to cancel all the other reservations too. Since the trip is not happening anyway, might as well. It's such a waste to cancel at the last minute. I'd like to go alone to the places I want, but going alone just isn't the same. I canceled the rental car and the reservations at the restaurants we were supposed to visit. Despite planning a luxurious trip with everything top-notch, it all vanished. It's so hard to have such a painful outcome for our 25th anniversary. That's just too much. As much as I thought that, there was nothing I could do. I stood up, ready to get back to my usual routine, and grabbed the vacuum cleaner. But then, I found something. It was William's small pouch. He always carried when going to work. He usually put receipts and such in it, but it was left behind. He left for work without it? That's strange, I thought, considering he'd never forgotten it before. Maybe he was in a rush. Should I contact him? With that thought, I opened the pouch. Inside were receipts and bills. Doesn't seem like he needs these immediately. As I looked further, I found something unexpected. What? Why is this here? A realization dawned on me as I examined it closely. I see. So that's what you're up to. Anger surged within me, and all my pent-up frustration began to take shape. You won't be forgiven. Remember this. I'll make sure you regret it. I vowed, gripping my phone tightly. I'll cancel that too, I thought, and made a phone call. A few hours later, William called me frantically. The tone of his voice was filled with considerable anger. It seems that he was in a state of panic. Hey! Why is the rental car canceled? Well, since we're not going, it's only natural to cancel it, isn't it? Is there a problem? It's just work, right? I retorted, piling it on. But his panic made it clear there was a significant problem. I felt triumphant hearing his voice. Then, in the background, I heard a woman's voice, "Hey! What's going on?" Does this mean he was scolded by a woman about the car? So, it's a definitive affair trip. I heard a woman's voice just now? Eh? No, it's a colleague. A female colleague on a business trip? That must be tough, having to be so considerate. Shut up. We'll talk about this when I get back. William abruptly ended the call, but I thought to myself, you'll be the one embarrassed when you get back. A few days later, William returned from what he called a business trip, which was actually an affair trip. His face was even angrier than when we spoke on the phone. Welcome back. What's wrong? Why are you so furious? Did work not go well? You canceled the rental car, and it caused me a lot of trouble. Well, I canceled the inn, so it's only natural to cancel the rental car too. William glared at me resentfully. He must have really needed that car, probably for the woman. Did you really need the rental car that much? You could have rented one on the spot, right? Or was it that only that car would do? For a business trip, there's no way you needed that specific car. I had planned a luxurious trip for our anniversary, thinking of it as a second honeymoon. That's when I planned a luxurious trip, something we don't usually get to do. That's why I chose a high-end inn and reserved a luxury car. I was going to use it for work. But I didn't even know where you were going. You should know without me telling you. How would I know? Your company doesn't have branches or factories in a hot spring town. That's true, but you could figure it out with a little thought. Why should I know about your company's affairs? That's ridiculous. If you wanted the car that much, you should have told me where you were going. Then I wouldn't have canceled it. You've never used a rental car for a business trip before. No, this time was special. Then you should have said so. I was in a hurry and forgot to tell you. The trip was sudden too. That's a lie. After all, it was an affair trip he planned with her. It must have been prearranged. Well, since you didn't tell me, it's not my fault for canceling it, right? You could have contacted me before canceling. Why are you making such a fuss about this? It's like you couldn't go on a date without that car. What nonsense are you talking about? There's no way it was a date. Why do you always think the worst? Oh, was I being silly? But given your past, can you blame me? I needed that car for work. That car was just for the anniversary. I wouldn't dream of renting it for work. Does your company pay for such an expensive rental? I doubt it. William changed the subject. But it only made things worse. And why did you cancel the restaurant too? I was looking forward to it. Oh my, you're saying such strange things again. Why would you go to a fancy restaurant for a business trip? Especially for lunch? Were you thinking of having lunch at a high-end restaurant while working? That's unbelievable. Well, that is. Maybe you were planning to enjoy lunch with that office lady, weren't you? That's ridiculous. It was a boring business trip. If I don't have at least a nice lunch, I can't stay motivated. Really? You usually just eat ramen noodles on business trips. Why a fancy restaurant this time? That's odd. You're being persistent. Am I? You're the one saying strange things. Oh, there's nothing odd about it. Well, okay. But I'm sure you're not just angry about that. What do you mean? This, here. I flashed the jewelry store's pickup receipt. It was the one I found in William's pouch. Why do you have it? Oh my, his face turned pale. So predictable. You left behind the pouch you always carry to work. So I looked inside. Why would you look inside? I thought I might find something important or urgent and wanted to notify you. It was just me being kind. But then I found this inside. What a shock. The date on it is today. You were planning to pick it up right after returning from the trip, huh? But why do I have something like this when I haven't bought it? It seems like you bought it yourself. Was it meant to be a gift for me? Yes, that's right. I wanted to surprise you. Oh, really? But you know, something's odd about it. When I inquired at the store, they said you came in and asked for something suitable for a young lady in her 20s. Moreover, you were so happy giving it as a present to someone in her 20s. Well, that's because I wouldn't look good if I didn't say something like that. Oh, the salesperson asked if it was a gift for your daughter. Of course, the salesperson had to say that. You can't say it's a gift for your mistress, right? But I immediately knew it must be for a mistress, so I canceled it. Was it really a gift for me? Something a young girl would wear? That's why the cancellation was in. I thought I could get it without the reservation. Wonder which daughter you were planning to gift it to. It was for our daughter's birthday. Oh, for her birthday, huh? That's long over, isn't it? Planning for next year's birthday? Yes, that's right. It's never too early to prepare. But you never remember our daughter's birthday. It's always me who asks what to gift her. I remembered it this time. Really? She's not even interested in jewelry, you know that, right? She wants bags. She must want jewelry too. Every young girl wants jewelry. Oh, you seem to know so well. Then you should have taken our daughter to choose it, shouldn't you? Stop it. I just wanted to give a gift. Increasingly cornered, William started to get irritated. So, I decided to hit the nail on the head. It wasn't a birthday gift for our daughter, was it? It was for your girlfriend. What are you talking about? I'm already 53 years old. There's no way I would do something so foolish, he said, his face unusually contorted. It's nothing short of self-destruction at this point. Why don't you just admit it? It's clear as day. I'm not surprised or jealous that you're having an affair. I don't have that much affection left for you. That's harsh, isn't it? You made it so. Well, fine. I don't have any affection for you either. Then, I pulled out a large envelope from the drawer. This is the investigation report I had requested from a detective. Seems like your trip was enjoyable. What do you mean? It was a business trip. A business trip, huh? Can you still say that after seeing this? The report was filled with photos. They were the pictures of William looking cozy with a young woman. And there was plenty more evidence of his infidelity. You had me followed? You never learn, do you? After cheating 5 times, you're at it again. Why don't you trust me? If you trusted me, I wouldn't have to do this. How can I trust you? You're cheating again. This is the 6th time. After being cheated on so much, anyone would investigate. So what? Yes, I'm cheating. The jewelry receipt is for her gift. Are you satisfied now? The nerve you have to admit it so blatantly. I was trying to make the trip special. But you ruined everything. I wanted to tour around in a luxury car, couldn't do that. The lunch at the fancy restaurant was cancelled because of you. She got angry at me. I was hoping to make it up with the final present, but even that was cancelled. How are you going to fix this? I'm not fixing anything. Serves you right. You ruined our memories. So, it was a physical relationship in exchange for jewelry? Don't say that. It was a token of love. Do you really think a young woman in her 20s would seriously date an old man like you? If there's love, age doesn't matter. Do you really believe that? Yes, her love is real. All right then. I can only sigh. So, what's your excuse for cheating this time? What do you mean excuse? You always use the kids as an excuse for your affairs, so you must have an excuse. Excuse? When a man and a woman are together, love happens. Oh, how creepy. You're so delusional. I didn't know your head was filled with such fantasies. I took out the remaining papers from the envelope. If you're so sure, sign this. It's a divorce form. It's finally time to part ways with my cheating husband. I've endured for 25 years, but I'll grant you a divorce. Go ahead, remarry her or do whatever you want. What are you saying? My suggestion of divorce was met with a puzzled look from my husband. Why would we need to divorce? I've had it. I've reached my limit. When I was told that our child was the reason, and that I didn't belong, I thought maybe it was my fault and I tried to be patient. But even after it was just the two of us, you continued to have affairs. That means there's no need for me to endure anymore, right? You say you're in a serious relationship with her, so please, go ahead and live with her, or even marry her. If we separate, you'll struggle financially. I won't struggle. I just want a divorce. I'll take this house as part of the property division. I'll leave, but I have her. I'll file for alimony later. Alimony, huh? Well, I guess that's okay. I have a job after all. But you know, once I'm gone, you're the one who's going to struggle, right? I think it'd be better for you to just put up with it. Just leave now. Okay, fine. With that, my husband grabbed his bag and left the house. However, he seemed to take the situation too lightly. A few days later, he called me. Your head must have cooled off by now. What? You've realized this isn't worth divorcing over, right? I had you sign the divorce papers because it is worth it. You're just exaggerating everything. I mean, I never planned on leaving you anyway. Well, it's too late now. We're already divorced. The divorce papers have been filed. So, what do you say? Let's start over. How about we start dating again? It's unbelievable how much he underestimates people. Here I am, furious after being cheated on repeatedly. From William's perspective, cheating doesn't seem like a big deal. I have no intention of starting over. Please find happiness with your mistress. But getting sued for alimony over something like this is a problem for me. How am I supposed to get by? Did you even think about that? Cheating is cheating, so it's only natural. And don't contact me again. With that, I hung up the phone. He'd finally understand my point. I thought so. But a month later, I got a call from William again. I can't live in a motel forever, he said. I was surprised to learn he'd been living in a hotel for a month. Weren't you staying with your girlfriend? I tried to go to her place, but she told me not to come. Why? Well, she lives in an apartment, you see. And she was living with her parents. So, she said she couldn't let me stay there. You didn't know that while you were dating? No, I didn't. Those kind of everyday life discussions are kind of boring, don't you think? So, when we were together, we avoided talking about our daily lives. That's just ridiculous. Maybe it seems so to you. But for me, love loses its charm when it's mixed with mundane life. Anyway, I found out she's had it tough. Her parents got sick and had to be hospitalized. She even cried about it. She's so cute when she's crying, you know. Well, good for you. Yeah, and she said she needed money. She couldn't see me anymore because she had to work to earn money. She's so earnest, really. This sounded like a familiar story. When I asked how much she needed, she said $10,000 would be enough for now, so I lent her that. Then, she said she didn't have enough for surgery and the hospital was kicking her out. Does that even happen? In the end, I lent her another $20,000. So, you've lent her a total of $30,000? Yeah, that's right. But it's fine. She's a responsible girl, she'll pay me back. Plus, she said once her parents' health improves, we'll get married. Oh, is that so? And you're still in touch with her? Well, I haven't been able to contact her recently. She must be busy. That sounds like a marriage scam to me. What are you talking about? There's no way she would do such a thing. If you say so. Then just wait for her to contact you. Maybe in a few decades, you'll get married. Are you jealous? It's pointless to be jealous of an ex-husband. Peaceful as ever. Living in your fantasy world, as usual. Whatever you say, your dream won't wither. So please, stop contacting me. Caught in an apparent marriage scam, William was still in denial. There's nothing I can do but leave him to it. All I can do is let him be until he comes to his senses, and it's no longer my concern. But then, another month passed. William called me for help. Hey, what should I do? You again? We're strangers now, stop calling me. Don't say that. I'm in trouble here. Fine. What's it about? I'll listen. Well, I got a call from the police. What did you do? Nothing. They were checking if I was a victim. Victim of what? Marriage fraud. Apparently, she borrowed money from other guys too, and some idiot filed a police report. Idiot? Come on, you've got to be kidding, right? She wouldn't do something like that. Why would someone file a report? That's just idiot. No, you're the idiot. And she mentioned my name too. Oh. So it was a scam. Glad you realized. No way. She wouldn't scam anyone. It's all a misunderstanding. You're still not seeing reality, huh? You trust her that much, yet you're asking me for help? That's just it, I'm out of money. I thought so. So, can you help me out? Why would I help you? We're strangers. Are you trying to scam me now? Stop it. Why would I scam you? If not, it's unthinkable. I won't do that. I've paid your alimony, but living in a motel is draining me. Just stop your hotel life. There are cheaper options than living in any hotel. At first, I stayed in a decent hotel, but now I'm in a motel. Stop that. Renting an apartment is cheaper. There are plenty of options. Let's not talk about that. If you say so. Now I'm in debt for the motel bill. You're foolish. I might get chased by debt collectors. And the money you lent her won't come back. Yes, I thought I'd get my money back for sure, but it turned out to be a huge mistake. However, I don't think it's over. It must be a misunderstanding. She has a sick mother, so I'm sure she'll come back. If such a mother exists. She does. She wouldn't lie to me. Why is she in trouble if she didn't lie? You're too naive. Help me out. No way. We're strangers. And lending to someone in La La Land never pays off. I really am in trouble, you know. You brought this on yourself with your cheating. Maybe. If I hadn't cheated, none of this would have happened. I'm reflecting on it. So, help me. I was your husband. You were, in the past. Now we're strangers. Why so cold? If there's love between a man and a woman, why don't you find someone new? There must be someone out there who'd love you, even at your age. I can, but not immediately. Remarry me. No. I refuse to remarry just to be cheated on again. My ex-husband William kept repeating I was wrong and let's start over. But honestly, no sensible woman would want to restart with such a foolish man. And I'm certainly not one of them. He kept contacting me. He said he never settled on a place to live, preferring motel life instead. When I asked why, he said it would be inconvenient to rent a place if we got back together. William seemed to think I wasn't the only option. He was still living in a fantasy world. His debts grew, leaving him unable to borrow more. He even claimed he had no money until payday. His solution was that he tried living in his office. It had heating, cooling, a toilet, and running water. It was a seemingly perfect living environment. However, the company did not allow this. William, known for being talkative, likely hinted that he was sleeping at the office, possibly mentioning how the office sofa was just right for sleeping. So the company, considering it misuse of company property, threatened him with embezzlement charges. Given his age and perceived lack of value to the company, they offered him an early retirement. He accepted it thinking he would get a decent severance package, but it turned out to be much less than he expected. Despite everything, thinking about the future, he realized he needed to secure a place to live. So, he used his retirement pay to lease an apartment, and thus began his life in a small one-room apartment of about 75 square feet. This apartment, however, was so dilapidated it seemed haunted, the kind that would hardly attract any woman's interest. After squandering his money on a woman, William finally realized his mistakes and came begging to me for help. But I kindly blocked him. As for me, my daughter returned home, and we've been living a peaceful and content life together. It's truly a happy ending for us.